listening to Mad Mike's Smile Time Variety Cast.
Hello everyone, bonjour tabarnak, and welcome to another episode of the Smile Time Variety Cast. This is Mad Mike here with you as usual, and I have a very exciting episode for you on the way today. Before we get started, I do want to say that unfortunately I don't have any new albums to review for you, so I do apologize for anyone who wanted me to review new Black Braid, or Outer Heaven, or that new Voivod album, or Kim Dracula, or Evile. I do deeply apologize for that, but I do have a good reason. It's because most of my time this month and in the subsequent next couple of months are going to be spent working on the next Keeping Tabs video. So thanks to that, I don't have much time to do much else. That being said, I still wanted to get this podcast out for you guys. The podcast is still going to be a thing, don't worry. It's just that some of the things I do are going to have to be on the back burner for the time being, because if I didn't do it that way, then I would have no time for the big projects. And I'm really excited for this Keeping Tabs video to come out. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait to be finished it, and I really need to dedicate as much time as possible to it so the quality is good. So that means a lot of the stuff that I do on the podcast and other types of videos that I make are gonna have to take a break for a while if you want this Keeping Tabs video out fast enough. That being said, I still have a very exciting episode for you on the way. My classic album review will be on Helloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and 2, and that's on the way in a couple minutes. And after that, I'm going to be joined by a special guest by the name of Aidan Manley, who's a good friend of mine from film school, and we are going to be talking about the most metal filmmakers of all time. So stay tuned for that, and of course, stay tuned for the Q&A afterwards. That's all I got to say about that. Let's move on. This classic album review will be a little bit different this month, as I am reviewing two albums instead of one, even though I consider this pair of releases just one big double album, probably because the copy I purchased included both albums. Of course, I'm talking about power metal icons Helloween with their legendary 1987 and 1988 records, Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and 2. I'm gonna cut the drama here. These two albums are my favorite power metal albums of all time. Every song is a banger, every song is unique, every song flows like the Mississippi River on a hot summer day, and each song gives ample amount of time to showcase each member's talent, all while contributing perfectly to the greater whole. Keepers 1 and 2 are inner circle metal masterpieces as far as I'm concerned. Some quick background: Helloween is a German power metal band founded in 1984 by guitarist-singer Kai Hansen, guitarist Michael Waykath, bassist Markus Grosskopf, and drummer Ingo Schwichtenberg. I'm probably butchering those pronunciations so hard, I do apologize. And after a bunch of boring origin story crap, they released their debut Walls of Jericho in 1985. The album was, in my opinion, fantastic, and one of the albums that helped usher in a more epic version of the thrash metal we were hearing at the time. Fast forward to 1987, and Kai Hansen took a step back from vocal duties to focus on guitar. In steps Michael Kiske on the mic, and the band had reached its final form just in time to record these two albums we are talking about today. Even though he was only 18 at the time of recording, his voice had fully matured to that of a singer in his prime. He had that soaring operatic style reminiscent of metal greats like Rob Halford and Bruce Dickinson. And with these two Keeper albums, his voice helped change the metal landscape forever. Let's start with Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1. This is Helloween as they found themselves. Walls of Jericho was definitely a mashup of everything that was influencing them at the time, but Keepers Part 1 is the band finding its own unique voice and developing their own brand of power metal. Not only that, but every song seems to have its own identity. You have I'm Alive, which kicks you in the face and introduces you to the album, A Little Time, which is a slower, trippier number with actual clocks ticking during one part, a very thrashy in spirit Twilight of the Gods, followed by one of the greatest ballads in the history of metal, A Tale That Wasn't right. The last one there is a song I want to talk about because it's one of the sappiest songs I've ever heard. This was at the height of the epic 80s metal ballad. You had Metallica's Fade to Black, Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home, Whitesnake's Is This Love, and Carcass's Regurgitation of Giblets. Okay, I was kidding on that one. And this ballad stands right alongside them as one that is truly tear-jerkingly epic. Michael Kiske cries on this song are truly powerful, and Hansen busts out one of his most memorable solos. Nothing fast or intricate, but pure feeling and emotion, just like the rest of the song. This isn't the best Helloween song, that's coming up in a bit, but it is definitely their most beautiful song. After the epic anthem that is Future World, Helloween gives us a song that has gone down in the annals of epic metal lore. The 13-minute masterpiece that is Helloween. Where do I even begin with this song? Let's start how brilliantly it draws you in with an eerie intro that sounds like a doomsday clock ticking down, followed by one of the most memorable galloping riffs this side of Iron Maiden, followed by Kiske and Hansen trading off Masquerade, Masquerade, and settling you into the song, followed by the epic chorus where Kiske hits one of his highest notes. The song then brings you into a trance with We Are Part of You, followed by some of the most amazing soloing and instrumentation you'll ever hear, before it brings you back to the chorus and gives you that masterful galloping riff one last time. This is the best song across each album, and also the best song Helloween has ever created. Then follow The Sign Happens, which ends part 1 on a mysterious note and leaves you wondering what will happen next. Well, Keeper of the Seven Keys part 2 is what happened. And this is a perfect sequel. Every track, if you combine the intro with Eagle Fly Free, has the potential to be a hit single, and they are all so varied. You have the fast-paced blisters like Eagle Fly Free and Save Us, the epic power ballad We Got the Right, the ferocious anthems in Rise and Fall and March of Time, and one of the greatest power metal hit singles of all time, I Want Out! You also have the epic title track, which is 13 minutes long and absolutely fantastic, even though I do find Helloween from Keepers 1 to be the better song overall. These two albums are the best power metal albums of all time, in my opinion. This perfected the genre and has aged about 3 weeks since 1988. Every power metal album that came after it was aping off of it. Name me a power metal album, and I will say it reminds me of Keepers era Helloween. Sadly, Helloween couldn't continue this magic, as Kai Hansen left the band after Keepers 2, and Michael Kiske left after 1993's Chameleon. And Helloween was never the same after that. I do know that they reunited eventually, but this is them in their late 50s, early 60s. It's just not the same as them in their prime, I'm sorry to say. But my point is, they were never really the same after Hansen left, which is a shame because they had the potential to go on a run of classics that only Iron Maiden could rival, but it just wasn't meant to be. The stuff they've done since is fine, but that's about it. Nevertheless, Keepers 1 and 2 are still absolute inner circle goated classics and are my favorite power metal albums of all time. If it sounds like I'm phoning this review in, well, let's just say I'm saving a lot of talking points for this album on a future video down the road. And that's it for my classic album reviews. Let's get to my collab. And I am being joined by a very good friend of mine by the name of Aidan Manley. Him and I go way back to film school. Just in case I haven't told you guys about 1,000 times before, I am a film school graduate who wasn't good enough to find a real job in the industry, so I got on YouTube. And this guy knew me back in film school times. You may also remember him from previous videos, like my 1,000 subscriber video. He did have a cameo in that. And my April Fool's video for all 12 of you that watched it. So, yeah. Hello, Aidan. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, I remember being in film school with Mike. He used to just eat the pencils instead of focusing on the cinematography lectures. And oddly enough, when we learned about communism, he just wasn't interested in communism and the blacklist. And he's like, what does this have to do with filmmaking? Well, it's important to understand how to make a good Western.
Well, you see, I don't like communism. I prefer Americanism. Anyway, sorry.
Americanism's made by, it's organized by The Russians, as that's at least that's what Professor James Crow wants to tell us.
Oh my god, that guy. So
Yeah, that was.
James,
Like, how can I make this as weird as possible right off the top?
well, Mr. Crow, if you're like ever discover that YouTube exists and you stumble upon here, we love you, man. But anyways,
He's still gonna call it television.
yeah.
He's gonna think it's some kind of TV network.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, you took part in my April Fool's video, where you were very proud of my success. Very, very.
I mean, in real life, I'm extraordinarily proud of
Yeah.
your success. But for the character, I had to access a dark place to bring the magic to life.
Yeah, man. And you know, like that was a very fun video to make. So for my audience, for all 12 of them, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Probably I've seen probably more movies than a lot of people are proud to admit. And I've made a few movies. They're all on YouTube. Just look up my name and eventually you'll find them. Aside from that, I basically just spend most of my time just reading about movies and watching movies and gushing over them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once in a while, it makes me think, hey, you know what? Maybe I can make a movie. Then I make the movie.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's probably the best way to sort of explain myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And you know, as I said, we met up in film school. We Niagara College, Welland campus, class of 2020 BRTF. BRTF stands for Broadcasting, Radio, Television, and Film. We went to film.
Like it was yesterday. It feels like it was yesterday we were there.
Yeah. I
Weird
mean,
to
like,
think that we graduated 3 years ago. We've known each other for like 4 or 5 years now.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's weird to think.
yeah, and I'm a little bit. I was like the grandpa of the group, of at least the film group anyway. And like 5 years isn't a long time. I gotta remember, like 5 years isn't a long time for me, but that is like, you know, a quarter of their lives. So like,
Yeah. I was 17 when I started college.
yeah. Damn.
Like, to put it into that kind of perspective.
Yeah, man. And shit. Yeah, I was 20. I was 28. Yeah, I was 28 going on 29 when I started. I'm 34 now.
34.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem real.
Nope.
I still think you're 29.
You know what? Honestly, I feel like personally I just age 10 years slow. Like, you know, it feels, because like the life stuff I've done, like it feels like these are all things I should have been doing 10 years prior, like going to college at 28, you know.
10 years ago, I should have gone to college when I was 28.
Yeah. Yeah.
At age 28, I should have gone to college. No, wait,
Yeah.
10 years ago, I should have gone to college at age 28. That's how I should have done it.
Yeah. You know, it was a good thing though for me anyways, because like I needed, well, first of all, I needed to grow the fuck up. That was one thing. If you think I'm a fucking man child now, you should have seen me when I was 18. But
God.
and
There's an image.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? Like, you know, I needed life experience because I was a horrible shut-in who had no idea how the world worked. So I needed that. So it was a lot of years of added wisdom when I did go back and everything. And I was, you know, I feel like it helped me a lot more. But, you know, it was honestly, those were the 3 greatest years of my life, honestly, like going through that and everything. Like, you know, it was a grind. It was for all of us, and I'm not going to pretend like it was all sunshine and rainbows or anything, because there were some fucking tough times, some tough projects to put together, some really...
There were tough times. There were tough semesters.
Yeah.
There were tough...
Yeah.
There were tough halves of years that I'll never get back.
Yeah. And
but it was fun.
Like, it was...
But it was fun.
I still had the time of my life, but even, like, the negative stuff, and this is something I've just realized, like, you know what? I wouldn't even trade any of that in. Like, because those are all lessons. Those are all that's all stuff I've had to learn on my journey. That's all stuff we've all had to learn on all of our journeys. It's like, like sometimes you're going to have to work in environments that are not good for you. And sometimes you're going to have to, deal with very tense situations that can probably be very traumatic at the time, and so on and so forth. But you got to persevere.
And I mean, yeah, because then it's like later on when we end up in a similar situation that's not film related, we know how to handle it better. Because it's like, oh, I've been through a situation like this before. Yeah, and then you just kind of do what you wish you could have done previously, but you were too quiet, or you're too worried about hurting people's feelings. Like, well, I gotta see these guys again in class for a lecture, but now it's like, well, I mean, I gotta see this guy at work. I better tell him this is how you have to do it, or like this is not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You just gotta go from there.
Yeah, and one big lesson I took away from that, and they shove this down your throat a lot. Well, besides the workflow, which I've done a very good job at, it's actually
work.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it again? What is it again? One is none. Two is one.
Yep. Three is secure. 3 is safe. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, don't ever have one copy of something, and I don't, because I have 2 hard drives, another spare hard drive, a built-in hard drive on my computer, and copies and copies of everything, and my Google Drive as well that I pay $3 a month.
I feel like I misinterpreted when they told us that, because I have about 27 copies of a sex tape.
Yeah.
And I figured that's what it meant. Like, you should have multiple copies. So I just recopied everything. And now I'm not quite sure. I might have left it open on a Facebook tab somewhere.
Yeah.
It's somewhere out there now, unfortunately.
Yeah. We're gonna gloss over the sex tape. So anyways,
as long as it's safe though. That's what they say, right?
Yeah. What is it, like a squat cobbler? No, I'm kidding.
No, it's more like it's like those secret videos that are like, it's like those secret fetish videos where you step on an ice cream cone in a sneaker, and somebody's like, yeah, that's hot. So it's hot. Someone's into sneakers, just smushing something. Kind of stuff I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man.
I wish. I mean, those go real viral real quick. Those are big on TikTok.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's a filthy underground, essentially.
Yeah. I'm good there. I'll stick to my hentai. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah.
How weird where that's the normal option of the two.
Yes. Yeah, if someone walks in on me watching those crush videos, I'll be like, actually, these are just this is just ISIS stuff. That's just easier to explain,
As they got a weird shipment of sneakers. Apparently, they're trying. It's some kind of, I don't know, secret. What's the word? Propaganda machine that they're running. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. But yeah,
joining some kind of convoy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have this weird urge. Watch a few TikToks, and now I feel like I'm gonna go.
Oh my god.
Run around.
TikTok sucks. I in all honesty, TikTok would probably help my channel a little bit, but
you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
It's the last thing I want to do is like accidentally start a TikTok trend, because I feel like if I did that, I'd just like put a gun in my mouth and just fucking be like,
See, that's where you and I differ. I'd be like, yes, give me all the money, let it flow.
yeah,
I'll take all of it.
like this is what you'll be known for, Mike. But
I would bank that on my career. I would print T-shirts and then just coast on that bit of money. But then once in a while, you can throw in like you can make a weird short film and really mess with people.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
It's like when comedians do something dramatic, you know, like when Jim Carrey did Truman Show, you could do something like that.
Yeah. But like I've seen some, like there was this one TikTok trend where it's like they're jumping out of boats for views, like out actual motorboats, and like a few of them actually died doing that. Like, yeah,
no,
and it's like
those trends,
and it's like, you know, you stop doing this for fucking clout. You do realize that jumping out of a boat, like water is not this soft thing. It's not like you're landing on a pillow.
It's basically concrete.
Water at that speed is like hitting concrete. Yeah. And it's like you're going to die, or at the very least have like a few broken limbs. Like,
yeah, you're gonna break something. My girlfriend's stepdad, he was water skiing with his buddies, and he slipped and he was dragged across it, and all the leg hair on his shin is gone. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's still like no leg hair on the one half of his leg. Damn. To this day, it ripped all the follicles out.
Ouch.
From him. That's how intense water can be.
Yeah. So like,
respect water.
Yeah. Like, you know, it is dangerous, people. Don't jump in it. But yeah, and it's like
you can you don't even need to jump out. You could just tag it as fishing and boat. Like just put those hashtags in, and you could be sitting in the chair drinking an iced tea for 5 seconds, and you'll go viral.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to actually jump out. You could say, "Oh, I jumped out," and just fake it.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't think I'll ever be on. Like I do have a TikTok account, so like to follow a couple of my fellow YouTubers who are on there, but that's about it. I don't think I'll ever make content.
Now that you're not going to get on TikTok, but I also said I wasn't going to get on TikTok, and then this thing called this thing shut the world down. I can't remember what it's called, but something shut the world down, and I found myself very bored and found myself posting many TikToks.
You know,
so one day you may crumble to the dark side.
The keyword there is I don't think. So like again, your feelings might change, your you know, way the world works might change and all that. It really depends. But for right now, I'm happy doing my YouTube thing. What was the thing that shut the world down? I think it was like it was the West Nile virus, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. West Nile.
Yeah.
I heard it was a reunion of the original Newsies.
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard it was. Like Broadway was bringing back the Newsies with the OG cast, and they were going across the world. It was like a worldwide tour.
Yeah, I thought it was like aliens that had invaded us, and you know, an actor was president, and you know, Will Smith was supposed to save us from the aliens. Turned out that the head alien was Chris Rock, and he bitch slapped him to death. It was something like that. I don't know.
The aliens, aliens had someone's name in their mouth.
Yeah.
And Will Smith just was not going to stand for that.
Yeah. Something to that effect anyway. But yeah. And now, like, you know, we were forced to inject 5G signals into our brains and all that fun stuff. And, you know.
Yeah, because suddenly we're in a Blade Runner movie.
Yeah.
And they're injecting a digital concept into our brain waves.
By the way, we're all being sarcastic, people. Shut up. Okay?
Do not take this seriously.
No. Except for the Blade Runner part, especially with the fucking wildfires. Did you see pictures of New York? Like that. Like,
dude, I live in Toronto. I see the smoke
yeah,
carrying over.
like that was like some straight up Blade Runner looking shit. That was damn.
With that orange sun peering through.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of videos about that.
yeah.
It was insane. There were some days where it was the only time where I've opened up the weather report and it just says, usually like you'll say like, heavy overcast or some fog rolling in. It just said smoke.
Smoke. Yep.
Smoke. It just said smoke.
Yep. I remember like you could smell it like from here, like in Niagara Falls. I was like, felt like a barbecue. It felt like there was a barbecue outside.
Yeah,
and,
we couldn't really I couldn't really smell it, but the smoke, I can see it rolling around and overcasting. It was it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Really cleared up now though.
Yeah, and it sucked too because like I was in Toronto for a show to see Creator and everything, and what was I gonna say? Like it didn't. I felt like it had dissipated that day. It was like the first week of June or whatever. I felt like it had dissipated that day, and it didn't like look too bad or smell too bad, but I decided not to wear my mask in Toronto. That was a bad choice. Because when I got back home, like it was coughing fits every day. It was just like a lot of phlegm, a lot of like, not being able to talk without fucking going,
all the good stuff.
It was brutal. So, and it wasn't COVID. It wasn't COVID. I know it wasn't COVID because I tested myself and everything. I inhaled a lot of smoke up there. So it was
smoke.
Yeah. But hey, still a fun day in Toronto. Too bad we couldn't meet up there.
But
yeah. But yeah, so we've talked for a bit there, but
what are we talking about today, Mike? What's the subject of the conversation?
We are talking about metalheads who went on to be filmmakers, metal musicians who went on to be filmmakers. I got a couple names here. And we're also, since we will have the time for it, because this is a blank canvas of a podcast, we'll also talk about, who I believe anyway are the most metal filmmakers of all time. Because again, we are both film school grads, and like I am proud of my background, and I've always had a passion for that, and I figured, hey, let's try to intertwine that with my love for metal and everything. What directors come to mind for you as metal musicians who went on to become filmmakers?
Do we want to talk about? You want to hear the good, or do you want to hear the shit?
You know what? Let's start with the fun first. Let's go with the shit.
Shit. Okay. So I have nothing against Danzig as a musician. If he thinks about picking up another camera, someone needs to teach him how to make a movie first, and not just you shoot the footage and then you cut the footage together. Someone needs to tell him how to make a good movie. And what makes a good movie? What's a bad decision? What you should never do in a movie? Because you could basically take his movie Veronica as a perfect example of what not to do when making a movie.
Veronica.
Have you seen Veronica?
I have not seen it. Yes, yet no.
Okay. Those who are not familiar, Veronica it's an anthology horror film written and directed by Danzig, and he also shot it. He's the cinematographer as well, and it's based on this comic book series that he wrote called Verotic. And it's just 3 horror stories in one movie, because anthology movies are really easy. You don't need to write a whole structure. You can kind of just write whatever story you want and come up with a narrator character who kind of ties it together. And yeah, that's Veronica, and it's fucking terrible. It's awful. It's like, well, it's funny we mentioned film school. It feels like somebody in film school, first year of film school, wanted to make an art house horror film before they understood what to do. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand where you're going there. Like, so basically, it's made by a like, it feels like it's made by a film student who doesn't know he's garbage, basically.
Exactly. And thinks that he's making something really fun. Like you can just see the tropes. Like there's the terrible, the wide two shot in a conversation that's on a dolly.
Yeah.
Like it dollies to the side a bit.
Yeah.
As like the establisher. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of scenes that just go on way too long. Like there's a bit of a struggle between two characters, and it goes on for about 45 seconds. Way too long.
Yeah.
And the CGI is
yeah,
hilarious.
There's
an animated spider that looks very reminiscent of like those 2007 like skit comedy videos that you find on YouTube, like the early days of YouTube,
like Annoying Orange.
Yeah, exactly. In Orange, it looked like that After Effects thing.
Brutal.
And yeah, like, and the whole thing of it is like the idea behind Veronica is supposed to it mixes violence and erotica, and the movie is neither violent nor erotic, because I don't think they had enough budget to do something weird.
Yeah. Oh my god.
None of the actors really, you can tell none of the actors their first language is English. They all have very thick accents, and they are not professional actors. And so they all have this weird like voice, and the way the sound is recorded, it's kind of like you can feel the room in their voice. You can feel the reverb.
Yeah.
I got about 30 minutes in, and my partner turns to me and goes, "I'm not having this."
Yeah.
And so we shut the movie off.
Oof.
We couldn't even make it through 30 minutes. It's only a 90-minute movie, but we got a half hour in and I was like, this is terrible. Why are we watching this? And I went, I don't know why we're watching this. And we just turned it off.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, and oh boy, a full 21% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average rating of 3 out of 10. Damn.
I'm surprised they got that much.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not lower. Who are the 60?
It looks like the people who
didn't hate it.
Looks like the people who did give it a good review are like, it's like, oh, it's like a horror, an ironic horror comedy, which like, okay.
Oh, that's a load of bullshit. Oh, that's a load of bullshit. Oh, it's the people who think like, oh, it's so bad, it's funny, it's like a New The Room. It's like no. This is, The Room is entertaining. It's just boring. It's just a boringly bad. And don't say it's not a horror comedy. This man was trying to make something like something spooky and weird, and it failed miserably.
Ooh, yeah. And we're talking about metalheads who went on to become filmmakers. We're gonna have a couple actuallys in the comments. They'll just be like, well, actually, he was a hardcore punk guy. He did
metal enough.
He did metal as well, like alternative metal, but still metal. So blah blah blah. And he influenced a lot of metal bands like Metallica. So,
he counts.
Stop looking for reasons to argue. But anyways, again, I'm way looser with genre defining than other people are. But yeah, you'll have some actuallys in there. Yeah,
metal or no metal, it's shit.
Yeah,
this guy, and he made it was a real shitty movie.
Yeah,
and it's the other annoying thing. So this is a common thing, like in Refn movies and other stuff. There's a character will talk and there's a pause before the other character speaks. Now, if you're watching like a Refn movie, who does it a lot, it kind of feels like it's a meditation. Like you're kind of just letting it feel. Here, it genuinely feels like the actors are waiting for their cues.
Yeah.
Because there are these 10-second gaps before one of them will respond to the other, and it makes no sense why they're speaking the way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stories are just there's these gaps in, I mean, the usual faults in bad filmmaking. There's gaps in logic, there's lousy music, but it just it looks so cheap. It looks like it was made for about, I don't know, $5. $5 at a
when you're
yeah,
when you're Glenn Danzig, yeah.
Yeah, maybe not $5, because you know there's like he has a proper camera and shit, but I think film school production is the best way to describe it, because it just you can feel that this was somebody trying to make a movie. It feels so cheap.
It sound like, honestly, the way you're describing it, I feel like some of the films we made in film school were probably a little bit a little bit above honestly, that quality. I don't know.
Yeah, but, some of the ones where we to go, oh, that was a bit shit. And then you look at this, like, actually, no, we're not so bad.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty. We're doing pretty well. This is what a professional movie looks like.
Yeah,
they had a it was a $1.5 million budget, so it was a low budget affair, and he probably saved it because he cast mostly, I'm assuming, porn stars, because they all, you know, look all glossy and they're all skimpy and attractive, but can't act their way out of a wet paper bag. And it was just so I think if we're starting with like the shit, that's the shittiest example I can think of. For going metal people who made the jump.
Another, you know, and this is one that you can't argue is metal. A metal musician who went on to become a film director. This one's the elephant in the room, Rob Zombie. I don't know if he was on your list.
Oh yeah. See, now he was on my list for the one of the good examples. Oddly enough, one of the gooder examples.
That's a low fucking bar.
Well, let's talk about Rob Zombie. There's a lot of opinions surrounding Rob Zombie. Now, why don't you go first? I gave my spiel on Erotica.
In all fairness, and I do want to say this right now, his remake of Halloween, the 2007 version, I love it. I actually really, really do like that movie. You know, he did it his own way, and I'm not going to argue that it's better than the Carpenter original. Nobody can fucking touch John Carpenter. Sorry, but he
unless it's Mission to Mars. In that case, Rob Zombie should have just remade Mission to Mars, and I would have been okay with it.
Ghosts of Mars, but
Ghost of Mars.
Yeah.
Mission to Mars.
But Mission to Mars is also another movie, which also sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Mars. I liked it because you know, he made it in his own way, and he did. It was a good way of paying respect to the original while also taking it in a different direction. Like with the original, like it's Michael Myers is treated as more of like a mystery character. Like he's very shrouded in mystery and is just treated like, you know, just this.
They credited him as the
death
shape
incarnate. Yeah,
like he's just supposed to be this thing, this being.
Yeah,
wandering around in the darkness.
Yeah,
they make a big thing like, he's not that's not a person. That's something else.
Yeah,
I do like them. I did like that Rob Zombie was trying to humanize Myers a bit. I like those attempts. My problem with the movie is literally everything else.
Yeah.
Because they try to make him more fleshed out and everything. The problem is, for me, it kind of kills Myers. I don't really like it when movies try to when the movies in the Halloween they try to explain why Myers is evil. I think
Mm.
it's. I mean, I sound like a broken record, like a hipster, but it's better when you don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the Rob Zombie-esque dialogue
Yeah.
felt particularly stand out to me.
There was a
in
weird
that
scene in that one where like Michael Myers' father, and it's like back when he was a kid, like Michael Myers' father just looks at his his like stepdaughter, and she's like, well, she's got quite a dump truck. And I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, you just sneak a fucking pedo into the movie, you know?
Fucking oh god, yeah. William Forsythe is like he's like the best part of that movie. He's because he's got this. He's playing. It's like you are playing the biggest piece of shit on the like the most white trash piece of garbage, and it's like Forsythe just went, all right, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, and
I know the line you're talking about. He goes, man, that bitch's got a nice little dumper.
Yeah, like, and it's like, bro, like, she's 14,
but he has,
you fucking creep. But anyways,
also has a, but he also, I do love, because he's got a cast on his arm, and he says to, like Michael Myers says to him, like, I hate you, and he goes, and I hate you. You see this? Once this, as soon as this thing heals, I'm gonna break it again over your fucking face.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which is such a great threat. Like, as soon as this heals, I'm gonna break it again over your face.
Yeah, that was like, it does have its cringy moments for sure, but I still like do really like it overall. I do like the direction he took with it. I'm glad that he tried to humanize. I actually do like the fact that he tried to humanize Myers, just like and basically in trying to humanize Myers, he made him look even like less human, because he's like, Myers is just a complete fucking psycho evil kid. And
I can definitely see it's because Rob Zombie's always been more interested in serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he really wanted to make Myers more of a serial killer, like a classic, like, you know, like a Henry Lee Lucas or like a Night Stalker. Like he had like all this kid who grew up from this horrible home, and now he's just got murder on the brain. And I can respect that, and I do like that it is, like you say, it is so different from the original.
Yeah, and you know, and the psychiatrist. His psychiatrist Malcolm McDowell did a great job in that movie.
Malcolm McDowell's great in everything.
Yeah, and
everything needs a bit more Malcolm McDowell.
He's it seems like in the remake he is more trying to profit off of, like, you know, treating Michael Myers in that hospital, and like,
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, government cuts are so hard, and he put so much time into this demon of a child, and he's like, well, can't help him anymore. I might as well write a book.
Yeah. Do
some tours. Maybe I can get some of my life back in money.
Yeah. And whereas like the original is just like, it doesn't seem like the psychiatrist is in it for his personal gain. He's just like, no, we need to protect the fucking world from this person and keep him away from society forever.
Yeah, he was a lot more one note.
Yeah,
I will say. Whereas McDowell, like, he felt a bit more connected. Like, he thought, oh, maybe I can try and help Michael, or like, I tried to help him. I really tried, and I mean, he did really try.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, it was cool seeing Brad Dourif, Chucky.
Yep.
In there as well.
Yeah.
As that cop. So it was good just to see, like, oh, cool, we get Alex and Chucky. Yeah. These two, like, I guess, killer icons. Yeah. Clockwork Orange. Would you consider Clockwork Orange a horror film?
Nah,
I guess
it's a Stanley. Honestly, Stanley Kubrick is his own genre sometimes. It's like it's a mixture of everything. Like, he's more of like just an iconic film character, an iconic
Yeah.
anti-hero. No, not really an anti-hero. An iconic villain
Villain. Yeah, he's
who's
a
villain protagonist, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Antagonist.
yeah, Viltagonist or whatever.
The Viltagonist. Well, like Viltagonist.
Yeah,
Sounds a little like, this the Viltagonist of our story today.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
not a fan of like the Laurie Strode like revamped character. Like again, you're not going to touch Jamie Lee Curtis. I know that, but like
No,
it was just it was very like one note and everything, and like
she was one. Yeah, like because I mean, Laurie Strode, even in John Carpenter's, she was still like very. I mean, we shouldn't be comparing the original again, but I just think I don't want to get into like a whole comparing the original and the remake because they're both two very different movies.
Yeah.
But the Rob Zombie's Helloween just kind of wasn't quite for me. Now, his other movies, I think it works extremely well. It's weird to say, I've yet to come across a Rob Zombie movie that I've seen that I hated that wasn't Helloween.
Oh, so we're like the inverse.
Oh yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, I think is a banger.
Really?
I fucking love that because it's so insane. It's so fucking insane. It's like a live action cartoon. It's like you took the back of it's like you took a hammer and smacked the back of Rob Zombie's skull open, and all this stuff that he likes and all this other ideas just come pouring out. Like there's all these music video type stuff, and the serial killer quotes and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of it all. Like it really, that feels like a movie that was made by somebody who's like, hey, here's all the weird shit I'm into.
Mm-hmm.
And the sequel, Devil's Rejects, I actually really enjoy as kind of like this 70s, Bonnie and Clyde type, like backwoods Bonnie and Clyde type movie. And the characters, the way they interact with each other is very compelling. Like the performances are really good, and I like this sort of family dynamic that they play up. Like the whole scene where they go to get ice cream and they end up getting ice cream and nothing violent happens. They're just literally bickering like a family would about going to get ice cream. It's like, this is a neat idea. It's oddly kind of pure. And I like William Forsythe in that movie. He's also in it like as that vengeance filled sheriff who's got like this self-righteous path of like, I'm the hammer of God. It's like that's pretty hardcore. I kind of like that. It's fun.
Okay. I haven't seen House of a Thousand Corpses since it came out on like VHS at the time. Holy fuck.
Wow,
and I remember it was, maybe I just wasn't the right age for it, but I just remember it was like a giant acid trip of sorts, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, and I mean that's why I love it. You may watch it now. You may watch it and go, oh, but I like it because of how insane it is. And even his movie Lords of Salem, I think is his best movie.
Yeah.
Because that one's again set in the 70s. They're always set in the 70s.
Yep.
They're always set in the 70s. That's one thing. But this one, Lords of Salem, it very much felt like a 70s horror film. Like it was very slow burn. It was very subtle. There weren't really any jump scares. All the horror's kind of implied, and there's just these weird glimpses of stuff in the corner. And for whatever reason, people really hate that movie, even though I think it's probably his most like refined and best made movie of his whole career. But people really don't like it.
Really?
And I don't know why.
I'll have to give that one a watch, just because like I never watched it because like just based on reputation and just like
Yeah, I also avoided it too because I mean people really don't like it, but I actually really dug it. I don't know, something weird going on.
I haven't seen his interpretation of the monsters yet. I'm not sure.
I did see some of that.
Yeah, because I haven't.
I did see it.
I've heard bad things. I've heard mixed things, but yeah.
Well, the big thing is, who is this movie for?
Yeah.
Because
80-year-olds who watched the Munsters growing up.
Because honestly, I will say, to his credit, it is the Munsters. It's kid friendly. It's cheesy. It feels like the old school. My problem is, if it was in black and white and shot to look like it was, done on film and it was all grainy, I would say it's great. I would say it's wonderful. But because it's in color and you have all these really ugly neon lights and everything, it doesn't really, it feels like a fan film.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was in, I turned the saturation down on my TV to look at it in black and white, and that looked a lot better. It looked a lot more thematic.
Maybe he's got a version out there. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he said, because I looked into it, he said that what he loved about shooting in color is how cartoony the characters look, so they really stand out, especially like when they go to like the real world, like in main society. They really pop out like a lot, like big cartoon characters. And it's like, yeah, they do look fun when they're against a normal backdrop, but the movie itself, I think, would have been a bit safer if it was made to look like it was, it's like Mank, how they made, like how David Fincher really made it look like it was an old film reel that was found from the 40s. If he had done that for the Munsters, I could say like, oh, it's this weird little gimmick movie, but it's fine, it's harmless.
It does get points for not shamelessly trying to CGI face Fred Gwynn's face onto Herman, so I'll give it that. I'll give it that, like, because
that's also a low bar.
The whole I fucking hate it when they take like dead actors and just CGI face them onto somebody else, and it's like, they say the families are okay with it, but like, they're getting, oh, you're okay with this, right, Mr. Guy whose grandpa played Grand Moff Tarkin, and your kids go to this school from between the hours of 12 and 6, and we watch them every day. You're okay with it, right?
You're okay if we did that, so that way your wife, Luann, who goes to the grocery stores around this time and takes this bus route, she could watch and enjoy. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, like,
Well, I mean, knowing Rob Zombie, you look at Rob Zombie movies, the man would not have anywhere near the budget to pull that off.
Yeah.
He'd probably just have to take like a PNG of Fred Gwynn's face and just like guy would just wear it like a paper mask, with like a last band.
Yeah, it'd be like
that. Those are the kind of budget that he always gets.
Yeah, it'd be like my shit post where I just take a PNG of someone's face and just like, animate it in a scene
exactly.
and whatever,
Yeah, but honestly, I look at Rob Zombie as one of the better examples of these heavier musicians who go on to the film industry, because at least his movies, like, they have an identity, and they're just they're shamelessly filled with references to the kind of shit that he just loves, and it's like, all right, well, it's like Quentin Tarantino. He's doing the same thing, so I guess it's just kind of like, pick your poison. What works for you?
Hold on. All right, where are we at here? Okay. Where is it? I'm trying to look for it right now. Another metal musician, and this is just one like, oh man, I'm laughing just fucking talking about it, but you know where I'm going.
I do. I want to guess.
We are the man, the myth, the hot dog flavored watered legend himself, Fred Durst.
Oh, I was gonna say Fred Durst. I was gonna say it. Oh man. Oh, there's so much to talk about.
Yep. shit.
The heartbreaking drama, The Fanatic.
Oh man. Can't talk, I gotta poo. And literally a line in that movie that John Travolta was paid to say and a writer was paid to write. And
his $10 mullet wig that's like stapled on to his head.
yeah, what's with that Larry from the Three Stooges haircut, or is it Mo from the Three? I don't know which one it is, but like,
Nah, it looks more like Kid Rock shop teacher. It looks more like white trash shop teacher is still really wanting to hold on to that mullet, but and not accept the fact that he's losing his hair.
yeah,
It looks terrible. I don't know. And the fact that character is supposed to be mentally challenged and they made him look like that is horrifically uncomfortable to watch.
yeah.
And so you can see scenes of him dressing up and saying poppycock.
Oh my god.
And then take a pair of antlers and pretend to be a moose. It's like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Oh man, like
I
that.
had a friend of mine say that John Travolta was actually really good in it, and I went, wait, what? And he said, like, well, the attitude of like a crazy fan, like someone like that. It's like, no. That's, how can you possibly think he did a good job?
Oh man, like, yeah, Fred Durst. One of okay. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. He made The Long Shots, a 2008 comedy featuring Ice Cube.
Oh God.
The true story of Jasmine Plummer, who at the age of 11 became the first female to play in Pop Warner football tournament in its 56-year history.
I'm sorry. This are you saying that Fred Durst directed a movie about an empowered female?
Yes.
Starring Ice Cube?
Yes.
What the?
And oh man,
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound. Of all the people that I would get to make my movie about a female icon, I would not get Fred Durst to make it, even if it's a sports movie, because I mean anybody can direct a sports movie, but Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm gonna look at the trivia for this thing. It's actually got a trivia page here. Let's see here.
I will say, like in the Fanatic, there is one shot. There is one shot in the Fanatic that's actually kind of clever, I guess. Is like he's standing in line to go see his idol, and he sees him, and like this, like everything around this guy fades, and there's like a spotlight shining upon him, and it's like, okay, that's a neat little visual. Because I mean, Fred Durst has directed a couple of music videos, so he kind of knows a few tricks. But
a couple tricks, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like to me he's one of those people. It sounds like to me is like he wants to make movies, but nobody wants to put a lot of the good money behind him because they're like. You're Fred Durst.
You're
you got
Fred
a reputation.
Durst. Yeah.
You have a bit of reputation. So they just give him like the crappiest little bottom of the drawer scripts that they have that's been like collecting dust and cobwebs.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, here, you make it. Here's $2 million. Go nuts. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, he makes the movie and then, I don't know, somehow lives with himself.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I guess all those royalties where I did it for the Nookie.
Yeah.
Keep them afloat.
Yeah, he did direct that. He directed all their videos, including My Generation, and For Break Stuff. Again, that's a musical legend, a filmmaking legend, Fred Durst himself. I'm not sure when I'm releasing this podcast episode, but it might be on a Friday, which is Fred Durst Friday. So bring it on. You know, get the fuck up. You know.
Does he still have that soul patch?
Probably. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he's got like a soul tee. It's like a goatee soul patch sort of thing.
Oh god,
yeah.
he's got a mustache and the little thing.
Yep.
Is it all gray?
Oh yeah, he's like
little. So basically, he's got like the Disney villain facial hairstyle going on.
Yeah,
like you got a little bit of hair here and a little bit there, a little pointed tip.
Yeah.
So you know you're evil.
Yeah, and yeah, so that is another one that is you know, a very fascinating career.
Fascinating is one way to describe it.
And
I
like
mean,
at that
at
point
the end of the day, that man is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here making fun of him, but it needs to be said.
Yes. It's a little, he is a little cow, that is for sure.
Suddenly Rob Zombie movies are looking pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, now they are. Yeah. In comparison, it's not that bad.
Look, if you have your options between metal musician filmmakers, Rob Zombie's the top choice in that specific subgenre of films that we've just invented.
Yep.
Who else do we got? Because like
I do have one.
I hate to just breeze through Fred Durst, but I've only ever seen The Fanatic and nothing else, because like why? Why would I?
Yeah. Oh man, the less said the better there. And like John Travolta too. Like at that point his career was just like
dead.
Just I mean, he had just made the masterpiece Gotti a couple years before that, and like, you know,
my God.
I'll tell you something. New York is the greatest fucking city in the world, you know. Like,
did you see that movie?
I've seen parts of it.
It is confusingly bad.
Like,
it's just confusing. Like there are time jumps, and people will look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like there will be a scene that's set, you know, it was 20 years ago, and a lot of the characters look identical. Like there's no effort to make them look
and
a
like
little bit different.
And like Ralph the Movie Maker, when he reviewed it, like he made a really good point. It almost feels like a movie about the Italian American mafia, but it's not Italian American at all. There's nothing about that culture in the fucking movie.
No, like, they just kind of John Travolta just kind of goes, "Hey, you know, I'm John Gotti. You go see that movie about spaghetti? What's it called? Meatballs? Yeah, go watch the movie." That's the entire fucking film. Like John Travolta's. I will say he's given it his all. He's doing what he can. And oddly enough, okay, I read this somewhere. Can't believe, I think I might be misremembering, but I think he's actually wearing John Gotti's hair the entire time. Like the family actually gave him wigs. The actual Gotti family gave him like wigs or something, so he's wearing Gotti's actual hair. That's what I heard. I think it was like because when he had cancer, he had like hair, so he's actually wearing. Because the family they wanted to help out, so they gave him like a bunch of like real artifacts and shit. So he's like wearing some real Gotti stuff, and I'm pretty sure one of them was like he's actually wearing his fucking like wigs that he had, because Gotti, I think when he had cancer, he had got a bunch of wigs made because he wanted to keep his nice thick head of hair, and so Travolta managed to get a bunch of those wigs from the family themselves. Again, they just gave him like, here you go. And so now he's just walking around wearing Gotti's actual hair. So it's like, okay, points for historical accuracy in that literally that one aspect. Everything else seems like a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, then so he goes from that and he's like, all right, next, I'm going to play a mentally challenged person. I'm going to be directed by Fred Durst.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. And it's like, why? Okay, it's like, John, say that sentence again.
Yeah.
You are going to play someone who's mentally challenged in a Fred Durst movie. Do you really think it's gonna be that good of a movie.
Can't talk about it. I got to poo.
I got a poo.
Yeah.
Poppycock.
Yeah.
Poppycock. It's real bad.
But yeah, that's Fred Durst, everybody. That's
When that movie, I think I remember when that movie was released, it had a budget of like probably like $2 million, I would guess, and it made like $1,800
yeah.
at the box office. It made a severely small amount of money,
Yeah.
and that's just perfect. You know, I mean, most of the people on that movie, they already got paid. They're on to other stuff. The people that you want to suffer, probably suffered a little, in the sense of, please don't make any more movies like this. Please don't make more decisions this way. If you're gonna do stuff like this, higher up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get someone who's not on the bottom waiting list.
Mm-hmm. So there is another one, another metal musician who went on to become a film director. He's a lot lesser known than, like, say, Fred Durst or a Rob Zombie, but Jonas Ackerlund, that's his name.
Sounds familiar.
He was a bass player in a couple metal bands, hold on, let me look at here. He was briefly a member of the Swedish black metal band Bathory in the early 80s, and then he started to get into making music videos. He made one for Bewitched, which is one of the most meme-tastic videos of all time. He made one for Madonna, Ray of Light. That's another one he did. Whiskey in the Jar by Metallica, Turn the Page by Metallica, which is my favorite music video of all time. Really love the storytelling in that music video. And every time I watch it, like, I feel bitter that I didn't get to produce my own. Fucking COVID. Yes, I'm still salty 3 years later.
Still salty. 3 years later, we didn't get to make that music video.
Yeah, because the way it was coming together was just like, it was like a fucking Beastie Boys Sabotage kind of video. And I'm just like, god damn it.
Yeah, it could have been fun.
And like, but
what never was.
It is what it is. But, you know, he's made a couple, what's another, I'm looking for it. Smack My Bitch Up by The Prodigy. That video.
That's a great video.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great music video. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best plot twists in a music video ever. I can't think of. Are there any other music videos? I mean, it's hard to think off the top of your head that have plot twists.
I mean, there was one recently with Electric Callboy where, like, so Electric Callboy has two lead singers. One of them's the screamer, and the other one's a clean singer. And you know, it starts with the clean singer in bed with a girl, and you know, he's like saying, every time we touch I get this feeling, every time we kiss I wish we could fly. Just like really romantic stuff. And then the plot twist is like, as soon as like the other singer's part comes in where he screams, it turns out the person in the bed is the other singer. So it just turns into this bromance thing happening. It's the funniest fucking shit.
I like that a lot.
Yep. Let's see here. Yeah, he's directed a lot of music videos. He directed the Man Unkind video, which was basically just B-roll from Lords of Chaos, which we will get into in a little bit. But yeah, he's a very accomplished music video director. He directed Pussy by Rammstein. Trigger warning for anyone, like, again, the controversy with Rammstein. I know what's going on and everything, but we are here to talk about his music. But yeah,
and trust me, you're not as disappointed as I am, listeners.
Yeah,
as when the news broke out.
Yeah, and
Stop molesting people.
Yeah.
Stop being dicks, please. Everybody,
yeah.
stop being such dicks. How is this tough?
Yeah,
But
but
music video doesn't really play well now, does it?
no. He also
At least their faces are just CG'd onto porn actors.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
It is a wild music video, though. My favorite part in it, honestly, is when he's like, it gets to like the loud part where he's like proclaiming the chorus, and he's like standing at a podium, like it's a press conference.
mm-hmm.
That I laugh every time that happens, because like you just have this 6'5" German metal guy at a podium speaking to the press, just saying like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have sex?"
Yep. Oh man, but what was I gonna say? So like, yeah, and you know, regardless of what happened, we're just talking about the music, and if like, yeah, but and he also directed Mainland by Rammstein, which is a funny video. Yeah, he's a very accomplished music video director. He's directed for Lady Gaga, Queens of the Stone Age, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. He's made a lot of live concert videos as well. A couple for Madonna, one for Paul McCartney. He directed Taylor Swift's 1989 World Tour video. And
those live concerts are really tough to make interesting.
Oh yeah, big time. And to mix audio wise, damn.
Holy fuck, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So, and then he made one for Rammstein during a concert in Paris. Yeah, he's made a lot of not a lot of feature films, but he's made a lot of like, grunt work stuff like music videos, concert videos, and I mean the stuff that never gets glamorized, and he's a very good workman-like director.
And I mean, I think that's where most musicians who want to get behind a camera should probably at the very least start with, or like stick to.
Yeah, because
there's a big difference between, because like you understand music and you understand like what the speed of a music video should look like and everything. Like I feel that making the jump from there to making like a feature length narrative film, it's so different.
Yeah,
you can't do the same shit that you can get away with back, because that's what it feels like, because music videos are often very quick, and Danzig's Veronica, it's so slow. I think he was trying, so it feels like he's trying to compensate, like, oh well, it's got to be 90 minutes, so it's got to feel like 90 minutes. Like, well, now it feels like 4 hours. That's not how it goes. It's I think that's where a lot of like musicians that kind of struggle, they try to make the jump and they realize it doesn't really, it's a lot tougher to make a consistent, interesting feature. I mean, it's also equally as hard to make a compelling music video, but it's a different beast.
Yeah. And like you can experiment a lot more with music videos, and like, it's like you can make it a lot more abstract and stuff like that.
It's basically a montage.
Yeah, and you don't really have that kind of freedom when you're making a feature film. Like, you got to be like your skill set, like it's, I compare it to like the difference between a million and a billion. A billion is to a million as to 10,000 is to one, basically.
Yeah, because with a music video, you know how long it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
At the very minimum, it's the length of the song. A feature film, that's a long process. The big process is trying to shave time or add time. It's insane. That little battle.
And he directed a movie. I've never seen it, but it's very infamous in the metal community for how inaccurate it is. It's called Lords of Chaos. It's based off this black metal band called Mayhem in the early 90s. Mayhem features, at the time anyway, featured members Euronymous, Dead, That was their nicknames, and Varg Vikernes.
I'm
And
sorry,
it
wait.
was
Just say the guy's nickname was Dead.
Dead. Yes.
Dead.
Yeah. Or
Right.
his name was Per Olin, and Euronymous, his real name was Øystein Arseth. I'm butchering the pronunciation. Sorry for any of my Norwegian homeboys. Like,
what do you have to do to get a nickname like Dead?
that is
it as simple as playing Dead, or do you have to do some
those were their self-appointed stage names, basically. And he was
self-appointed. Okay, so he landed on
and he, well, it gets darker than that. He was suicidal and eventually went through with it, right? And this movie is about the whole ordeal. So to like explain the situation, explain the situation, basically, it was just like Dead was a very like depressed individual, and Euronymous was Euronymous and Varg were just fucking assholes, and Euronymous basically kind of in like, I'm making it sound way worse, but like he basically encouraged certain behaviors from Dead, if you know what I'm saying. So
okay.
And
yeah.
And then when he found out, like when Dead shot himself with a shotgun, he found him. Euronymous found him, and and instead of, calling the cops or calling an ambulance, the first thing he did was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and took a picture of it and used it as an album cover of like one of their first demos. And Varg, that guy is another fucking real piece of work in the fucking metal industry, and I know I'm gonna have his followers just absolutely rip this video apart now. I don't care.
Fuck them.
But
that's messed up. That's messed up. I'm still reeling from that photo thing. Really?
Yeah.
Use that for an album cover.
And then like Varg and Euronymous got into a disagreement, and Varg supposedly killed Euronymous in self-defense by stabbing him 36 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but it was in self-defense.
He must have been coming at him with 2 chainsaws if that's self-defense.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But it was in self-defense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, he had a Gatling gun. What else was supposed to do?
But yeah, like
he came at me in the giant like aliens mech suit,
and
I had to stab him.
And the situation, and like, because Varg has a lot of fucking fanboys, because that's just how the metal scene works sometimes. And their big logic in this controversy is like, well, Euronymous was a fucking piece of shit and he deserved it. The situation is, I'm not going to deny that, but the situation is it was one piece of shit getting killed by an even bigger piece of shit. Like, that's what it fucking was.
Yeah, I don't really think this is a victory
like
or anything. I think they're both dicks.
It's like
dicks.
we'll go back to
since we
we'll go back to, since we talked about Gotti, we'll go back to like the mafia. Okay. Mafia hitman kills mob boss. Yes, the mob boss is a piece of shit. It does not mean the fucking hitman is a hero. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
he's also a piece of shit.
Yeah,
because he's just killing other people.
Yeah,
and he just ended up killing this piece of shit.
Yeah,
but before he killed that piece of shit, he probably killed a bunch of innocent people who just got wrapped up in the business because they had no money.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of controversy about the movie and how like inaccurate it is. I'm not sure. I've never seen it, but he did direct that movie, and it's become infamous in the metal landscape.
For historical inaccuracy.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm really.
Rory Culkin stars as Euronymous. So one of the Culkin brothers is Euronymous.
One of the Culkins. Now I really want to see it. Because
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, what historically inaccurate in what sense?
And Jack Kilmer plays Dead, like
Jack Kilmer.
Val's son. Val's son.
Yeah, so Val Kilmer's, it is Val Kilmer's son.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
He
yeah,
sounds a lot like his dad.
yep. And he
Like
looks
Jack
a lot like
Kilmer.
him. Looks a lot like him too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a movie he made. Like, again, it goes back to it. I haven't seen it, but you know, it's, if it is the way people describe it as, it just goes back to, like, you know, maybe it's like a don't quit your day job sort of thing. Like, you know, he's a very good music video director. He directed my favorite music video of all time, Turn the Page by Metallica.
Who wrote the movie?
It looks like it was, yeah, Jonas wrote it himself, with help from Dennis Magnuson.
Okay.
And yeah,
Then yeah, maybe it was one of those things.
again,
Oh, I'm really curious now. Now I really want to see it because I want to see.
yeah. And he also directed the video for Candlemass's Bewitched, which is one of the most meme-tastic music videos ever. Dead,
Oh, yeah?
Dead was actually in that video as an extra. So it's very likely that they had a very good relationship, and maybe his
Okay, so
bias
maybe-
played into that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
100%.
Yeah, so
That sounds like what it. Because I think with stuff like with a story like that, like the way, like if it's the way you've told it, the way you just described it, and if people are saying like, "Oh, it's not quite accurate," I think those must be the fanboys of those other guys thinking that, oh, this movie makes them look much meaner than they actually were.
mhm,
But in actuality, it might actually be closer to the truth
yeah.
than some people want to admit, or maybe it's the other way. Maybe maybe they come off as a lot nicer in the movie than people think they should be. I guess there's only one way to find out. You
Mhm.
got to actually dig in and take a look. But I mean,
Yeah.
as a music video director, he sounds bulletproof.
Yeah.
It's
He is
just like
very accomplished,
banger-
and he's let's see
Banger
here.
after banger.
He has won awards for, let's see here, best long form music video. Yeah, he's won a couple Grammys for music videos. One of them was for Madonna's Ray of Light, which was very deserved. That was ahead of its time. He won actually an MTV award for Smack My Bitch Up. So that's
Good.
another one. And he's won, let's see here. That's hasn't been nominated for any Oscars yet, but they don't really do that for concert films.
Why they didn't give an Oscar for Lords of Chaos?
No. No. But yeah, he's a very accomplished music video director. And you know, he is a very good, very solid example of a metal musician who went on to work in the film industry and made a pretty good fucking name for himself.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, he's still doing music. He mostly does music videos, but I mean, he's doing it right.
Mhm.
He sort of found his niche, and it sounds like with Lords of Chaos, he wanted to try and break out,
Mhm.
make a bigger movie. And you know, I think
Mhm.
maybe he'll do another one. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll do one, because that sounds like maybe he only made that one movie because he was like, you know what, this is a personal story. I want to tell it. Like he felt very close and attached to it, especially if he was close friends with Dead.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is an example
Mhm.
of a musician with things to. You know who else is a accomplished music video director who then made it a big leap into big movies?
Yeah, David Fincher.
And I was gonna say Michael Bay, but
Oh, yeah.
interesting to pull out Fincher.
Yep.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, sure. I guess Fincher's a filmmaker, but Michael Bay, that's
Yeah, he
that's
does
okay.
he
That's
does
guy who
the
directs.
the money. Yeah,
That's a guy who directs. That is a guy who
he's definitely one of the directors of all time.
he is a director.
Yep.
He is a director.
Yep. You know what? I'll even argue that he's an auteur, because like an auteur is someone who's like their entire style and vision is present on screen, and he
And it
has a
is
style.
Present.
he has
And
a
it's
style,
always present.
and you can you know right away it's a Michael Bay movie when you
can taste it.
when you click on it, like when you
Yeah.
fucking change the channel and Armageddon shows up, you know it's a Michael Bay movie without even
Yeah.
checking. So yeah, he is an auteur. David Fincher as well. He directed he directed the video for Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith, which is a very good video for its time. And then he went on to make
The rest of his
film. Yep. Seven, Fight Club, Panic Room, The Game.
It's gone on to become one of the
Girl
most
Dragon
influential
Tattoo.
and important filmmakers of our time.
Gone Girl. Mind Hunter. When are we getting season 3? You son of a bitch.
Never. Apparently, that show's dead in the water now.
Why? Like, that was so good. And fuck you, Netflix. You have enough money for that Jeffrey Dahmer series, but you don't have enough money to fucking finance another season of Mindhunter. Get fucked.
Yeah, see, we wanted to take the show that the serial killer show that people loved, and we wanted to go and make our own that people would fucking despise, because that's the smart move.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another, like, do you have any like other examples of metal musicians who went on to?
Well, I was thinking of they didn't direct it, but I've always been a fan of seeing the metal musicians who like make cameos in like movies. It's mostly horror movies.
Yeah.
They're usually always in it. I think one of my favorite cameos, like a proper cameo, was when Dio was in Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Yep.
As himself, because I mean, it's Dio. He sings like Dio. It's Dio. What are you gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite things that I saw was now Red Letter Media reviewed this movie, but it's called Trick or Treat, and it has Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it says Gene Simmons, Ozzy Osbourne like on the DVD poster, but Ozzy Osbourne's in it for like 45 seconds. He's on TV as a this is really honestly in a really great mood, and not a great mood, a great move. He's an evangelicist
oh my god,
reverend who talks about the evils.
Priest,
evangelical priest who talks about the evils of rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like on there, and it's Ozzy, but he's got a short haircut, and it's like combed and pomade, and he's in like this, and he looks all like all fussy, and he's like, oh, you know, it's just quite repulsive, isn't it? They just want, like, he's talking just like Ozzy, but he looks like this very clean cut reverend, and it's really entertaining to see.
Yeah.
And Gene Simmons as well. Gene Simmons is just kind of sleeping through the movie because that's just what Gene Simmons does.
Yeah, the Steven Seagal of musicians. But anyways,
I heard. I honestly, I got to read a script that he was supposed to be in, a script for a movie that he tried to get in. Yeah, and it was fucking terrible. It was fucking one of the worst scripts I've ever read in my life. But the character he was trying to play, that he was pegged to play, the character's literal name was Mr. Simmons, and I was like, well, that. Are you gotta be kidding me? And then later in the like, he goes, please call me Gene. I went, hold on, Gene Simmons is actually in this script as a BDS, is like this like creep, and it was gonna be Gene Simmons wanted to play, like, apparently the story was, yeah, the guy wanted Gene Simmons to play this part. It's like, why did he name it Gene Simmons? Why did he name it Gene Simmons? And it was a terrible script. I hope it never gets made. I won't say what it is, but it was pretty bad. And I could just imagine, I was reading it and knowing that information is like, oh god, that'd be so bad. And honestly, because reading the script, there's some foul stuff in it too. It was a pretty nasty script. And I'm just like, I almost wonder if Simmons like requested that some of the stuff happen
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Again,
And honestly, it's like, you know, I could see him doing it because he plays like this creepy piece of shit.
yeah,
That
the Steven Seagal of music, man. That's what he is.
One day there'll be a concert where he just sits in a chair in full effort and doesn't get up once.
Yep. Oh man.
Just like the Seagal movie where he's like sitting in the chair and he fights two guys.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm not getting up for this shit.
What if I just go, you know, whew, and I just throw my 2 punches and they just die. And they go, all right, fine, I guess we'll do that because whatever, we're all just kind of getting paid
Yep.
base money.
Yep. One cameo I remember is James Hetfield in that Ted Bundy movie. He plays the cop that arrests him.
Oh yeah, and
he actually did a pretty decent job at it. Like,
yeah, he played a stern cop. He
Yep.
does a good job at playing a stern fucking cop.
because he is a pretty intimidating guy. Like Hatfield,
he's huge.
yeah, and like
People like 6'4". He's massive.
he's like, yeah, he's
deceptively tall.
he's always like hovered around like the 6'4", 6'3", 6'2" mark, and like, you know, as an old dude, he looks like an even like gruffer badass, like one of those old grandpas who like you like you're standing. It reminds me of like an old grandpa you see like hanging out in front of his trailer with a shotgun in his hand, like just being like,
yeah, like the kind of old man who's like, okay, he's led a life and he's still keeping himself tight. Like you look at him and go, okay, he's old, but he could still like fuck me up.
yeah,
That's the energy James Hetfield gives off. He looks like your grandpa that could still kick your dad's ass.
Like, honestly, I hope he can like act a little bit more, because he could embody those types of roles pretty damn well, I think.
I could see him doing well. He could be like another Henry Rollins type. Henry Rollins is another one where like he's made it in the film industry somehow, and he's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah,
you know, he actually is a pretty entertaining presence.
There's a couple more. I do want to move on to like a metalhead who grew up a metal fan and went on to become a very accomplished filmmaker, Taika Waititi.
He is a big metal fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he grew up, to my knowledge, loving Anthrax and Metallica, and you know, also liked AC/DC a lot and Guns N' Roses. If you saw Thor: Love and Thunder, there was a lot of GNR in that fucking movie.
You definitely know that he loves Guns N' Roses.
And
because I mean, heavy metal, it's filled with so much creativity.
Oh yeah,
there's just so much shit you can get into there, and you listen to it, and you're like, oh, you know, it's very inspirational to listen to.
And like, you know, he managed to incorporate it very well into his movies, and like he's again, that is I still think his best movie is What We Do in the Shadows. It's just so fucking good.
That movie fucks. That movie fucks. I've seen it 12 times, and it gets funnier every time I watch it. I adore that movie. And you know, I've been watching the TV show a lot, which is also amazing. It's also one of the best TV comedies ever. You watch the movie. The movie's fucking depressing. It is a depressing movie to watch because most of the humor, it's more like sad black humor where it's like, oh, it's so painful how tragic this is. It's almost humorous. Like the scene where he opens he pulls out the necklace from his long lost lover, like, it's made of silver. Of course, you know, being a vampire, we can't wear silver, but it's still nice to have. It's like, oh, he can't even wear the necklace.
Yep. Oh my god.
It's such a sad, somber movie, but it's so hilarious because of how sad it is. It's really good.
It's not as sad as Peter's death in the movie. R.I.P. Peter. Nosferatu himself.
My friend has just died from a tragic sunlight accident.
Like, honestly, and you know what? Since he grew up a metal fan, I'm wondering if he took a lot of inspiration from Spinal Tap to make that movie, because
Oh,
it is a
100%.
vampire. It is essentially a vampire Spinal Tap.
It
Like
is. Oh, Spinal Tap. That so many anybody who wants to make a comedy movie definitely has seen Spinal Tap and has gotten
Yeah.
something out of it.
Mhm.
I mean, just the cucumber scene alone is like that definitely
Oh yeah.
influenced a lot of what Watiti did, or even just the little things like that beautiful piano ballad, and it's like, hey, I just play like that. What's it called? Oh, this one's called "Lick My Love Pump."
Yep.
Could definitely see that same energy coming through with like Vladislav.
Yep.
Like it's just his whole everything, just his entire existence, like the see me, see me, see me.
Oh man, yeah, that's oh man, fantastic fucking movie. And yeah, like I remember where was I going there? You know, we're talking about metalheads who grew up and became filmmakers. Another thing I want to talk about is like some of the most metal filmmakers of all time. They may not be metal fans, they may not have been in the metal scene at all, but like their style and their movies are just metal as fuck. One of them for sure is George Miller. Mad Max,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, I would give a lot of money to watch one metal video directed by him.
Directed by George. Oh yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Like
Fury Road. It is insane how much metal shit there is in Fury Road.
Oh yeah,
alone. It's like he
literally
he,
too. Like
it's like he just crammed everything, and it's like just I'm throwing everything into this. It's like if I don't make this movie good, I'm going to die. So it's like he was fighting tooth and nail, like this will be the craziest movie ever made. So help me.
yeah,
Like it's insane.
yeah, and of course like the other three Mad Max movies, like
The flame-throwing guitar. Come on. And the fact that that's a real flamethrower of a 135-pound operational flame-throwing guitar that was operated by a Australian punk guitarist himself, so he was just playing the riffs, and then he was just like letting that flame go loose. That is insane. That right there is some Rammstein type shit.
Yeah. And like what was I gonna say? Like a lot of the characters in those Mad Max movies, especially the early ones, like they were big, like image wise, they were a big influence on a lot of like how metal shows are presented and everything.
Oh,
like
the BDSM.
The fucking BDSM, the leather, the fucking, you know,
S chaps,
the bikes, the cars, everything.
Like it's the masks, like the makeup, the hair, piercings, everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really did, like those movies really did kind of like paint the aesthetic somehow. Like somehow that kind of bled through, and metalheads were like, "Oh yeah, that's good shit right there."
Yeah. Yeah, and then he also directed Babe, about a little pig.
They made Babe. Was it Babe or was it Babe 2 that he made?
No, he directed Babe Pig in the City. He wrote the first one.
Okay,
so
wrote
and produced, but not directed. But
right, still though, he's got a soft side. He even made Happy Feet.
Yep.
Man won an Oscar for making tap dancing penguins.
Yep.
Like he's got a sensitive side too.
Yep. And I can't wait for his sequel to Fury Road, Furiosa. It's coming out next year.
Is it?
Yep. Charlize Theron. No, wait. No, Anya Taylor. It's like a prequel. Anya Taylor-Joy's playing her. Holy shit! Damn.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I heard she was playing it. That's gonna be interesting. I like Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
She's a very, very talented actress.
Oh yeah.
She's also very, very beautiful.
No, but I had to do it.
Yeah. I had to make it. I had to come forward clear. Like, look, I appreciate her talent and her abilities.
We'll make that clear. I appreciate her for more than just her cute little face.
And his movies were influential. Like it wasn't a metal video, but it was a rap video, a very famous one. Like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome was very influential on California Love by Tupac. You ever seen that video?
Oh,
Like that.
okay.
Welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. Like it's just people driving in these Mad Max style cars into this dome, rapping in a dome and everything. And yeah, it's a very good video. He also, because Tina Turner was in Beyond Thunderdome, and he directed the music video. Like there was a music, like an original song from the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, there was.
We Don't Need Another Hero, and it's from the soundtrack, and he directed the video for that. So that's the closest he's come to.
Yeah,
like,
it was like
making...
that like weird pop ballad that they played during the opening credits or something.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I guess you got Tina Turner in your movie. It'd be silly not to get her to make a song for your movie. You know,
like,
but I mean, yeah, she was great in that movie. It's like, Raggedy Man.
Yeah, and like he may not have. I'm not sure what his music tastes are, you know, or anything like that. But in spirit, the guy is metal as fuck. I mean, this is a guy who persevered for 20 years trying to get Fury Road made. Had to deal with so much fucking bullshit trying to get it made. Including
lost a Justice League movie in the process,
including 9/11 happening and halting production because of war breaking out in one of the countries that it was supposed to shoot in, and a whole bunch, and of course Mel Gibson just becoming Mel Gibson's final form, and that fucking up, and then not only that, but like during production of Fury Road, he said to the production designer, "Make these cars look cool or I'll fucking kill you." like basically. Like,
okay, yeah, that's one way to do it. Yeah. Why didn't they teach us that tactic in film school? I feel like they tried. Yeah. Some people did, but that's insane. Yeah.
I mean, he motivated them, and they do look cool. Those cars
look great.
Yeah.
And they did. I mean, they won an Oscar for best production design. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Can you really fault the guy? I mean, probably, yeah, but still.
But yeah, that's one guy who is like a fucking metal as fuck filmmaker. Another one, and I don't think I'm controversial at all by saying this, John Carpenter. Like that guy. Right. Like, and he's a pretty diverse director, but like his style and everything just like
it's all in the
evokes like, even his soundtracks are just very like synth inspired, but like it's just, he's such a metal as fuck director. Like it's
all you have to do is look at The Thing.
Yeah,
it's the movie's filled with metal stuff, like all the animatronics, the blood, the tone of it's like, this is just awesome.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse, and just like brutal. It's all brutal. And like even his action movies are so like good and well designed, and like image wise like very inspirational on the metal scene.
Like Big Trouble in Little China is, because isn't it weird how so much of metal is about these grand fantastical stories and imagery?
Yeah,
like the kind of shit that you see in Big Trouble in Little China very much pushes a lot of genres of metal.
Oh yeah,
where it's all about magic and gods and and fighting.
Yeah,
and it's, you don't really associate that with metal, but it's very much in there.
Yeah, and same thing with Escape from New York. You know, very dystopian looking.
Dystopia. You got Snake Plissken. Snake. Who then influences one of the biggest video game series of all time, Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, Solid Snake. It's like, I'm Snake.
Snake Plissken.
Then they tried to escape from LA, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Then he's surfing
on a big tidal wave, going cowabunga. I assume he says cowabunga.
Probably. I'm not sure. I'd have to watch that again. But
probably doesn't. But but the fact that he doesn't is what makes that movie maybe fall short. Is like you got Kurt Russell not saying cowabunga.
Yeah.
As Pliskin.
Yeah, and another one he made, of course, In the Mouth of Madness, which he wanted to get Metallica on the soundtrack but couldn't afford them, infamously, which, again, that was right after the Black Album came out, so, yeah he couldn't get the rights to some of the songs and stuff like that.
They were like, woo!
Yeah.
Superstars at that point.
And Halloween, of course, like...
Oh, yeah.
A lot of his... Christine's another one where, like, it's metal in spirit, very much so. It's about a killer car, like...
Pretty metal.
Yeah.
Like the scene where, like, the car, like, comes alive in front of the guy, and now it was directed like it was almost like a strip tease.
Yeah.
Like,
that is
pretty
so good. So
fucking
good.
awesome. Like, fucking awesome. That was even the direction he gave the actor. He said, like, pretend your girlfriend is, like, doing a striptease for you, and it's like that's exactly what the scene feels like, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool. That movie also has one of my favorite insults to call someone. I like how the guy keeps saying, like, yeah, they're all shitters. Whole world full of shitters. It's like, I mean, technically yes.
Yeah,
but what a weird thing to make fun of. It's like, hey, yeah, I bet you go to the bathroom and I bet you take a poop. Dirty bastard. It's like, well, yes, I do sometimes. Do you not? Are you not a shitter?
Yeah. Oh man. That was another movie he made. What was it? They Live. Like, that is just like,
I keep forgetting. God, the fuck. I'm gonna give you two options. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
That fight scene is so good.
Like, it was on for 5.5 minutes.
Yep. And they were getting exhausted by the end, and yeah, it's choreographed so well. That
good.
I give a lot of credit to Rowdy Roddy Piper being, since choreographing fights was his day job, he did a very good fucking job at choreographing that fight.
There was also because him and like the action director was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a legend in the industry. He's an Asian man. I can't remember his name, but you can see like the behind the scenes photos of him like on set, and they're like figuring stuff out clearly. And I like how they made also the floors were all mats painted black so they could really just fucking throw each other down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only movie where we get to see Keith David suplex Roddy Piper.
Yep.
Pretty. If that doesn't sound like a good movie, I don't know what does.
Oh, yeah. It was so good. And then, like, we won't talk about Ghosts of Mars though. We're good there.
What, you don't want to talk about Ice Cube? We talked about him before.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That we have to talk about.
Oh man. Yeah, but yeah, that's another one too.
It's a movie. It's what it is.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's a movie that
Carpenter is another one that's like may not be a metal head director, but his style is just so metal in spirit and has had a lot of influence on the imagery and the the aesthetics and all that. Oh my god, I'm gonna go through my list here. Yeah, another one, and I think this is like the last one I'll talk about, but and this may be a bit of a stretch, but for early on in his career, I would say he had an impact. James Cameron, especially early on, like his Terminator movies, Aliens,
The
Abyss, even True Lies. Like, he was a very good action filmmaker. Terminator, the first two are metal as fuck. They even like the second one has Guns N' Roses on the soundtrack and everything, and opens
quite
up.
Literally, there's a gun and there are roses.
Yeah,
and the second with a shotgun,
a big fucking metal robot coming to kill you, and it literally inspired a metal comedy act, that is for sure, by the name of Austrian Death Machine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's basically the whole, like, it's founded by Tim Lambesis, who is a notorious person in the metal community. We will not get into that. That is a headache. But like his side project, he was the lead singer of As I Lay Dying, and Austrian Death Machine was his side project, and it's very thrash oriented, and he is like, the song titles are all basically Arnold quotes. They have a very famous song called Get to the Choppa.
Awesome.
And, you know, he has another one called I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots, Your Motorcycle. You know,
Is there one called Who's Your Daddy and What Does He Do?
Probably, yeah. I mean, if they have one called Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. So,
Oh, damn, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Damn it, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
All right,
So like
cut.
literally like that, those movies literally inspired a metal band to come into existence. So like, and even like his Avatar stuff, like that probably had a lot of inspiration on power metal. You could argue that like,
I would say like the way the stories you've heard about him when he's working on set.
He's
I think are more
hardcore
metal
dude.
than his movies.
He's a hardcore dude. In fairness, though, he doesn't do anything that he, you know, wouldn't ask of his. He doesn't ask his actors to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. Like even in The Abyss, like
Which the question is, what wouldn't this man do?
Yeah,
Because he seems to just he's sort of like, I'm willing to die literally any second. And it's like, not all of us are, James. Not all of us are.
Yeah, and because like,
well, you mentioned.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Because like in The Abyss, like he was down in the water with everybody else getting shit fixed. Like, and there were a lot of production problems with that one.
Yeah, everyone almost fucking died multiple
times. Yeah. Like the main stars of that movie still refuse to talk about it. Like
Ed Harris is like, I will never work with that man again. And he hasn't.
Nope. Like when you hear them recount it, it's like, it almost feels like a war vet just like having flashbacks.
Honestly, I saw a video about it recently, like a video essay about his past, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty much what I've heard.
Pretty much he's a hardcore dude, and like, you know, his style, especially early on, I think had a lot of influence on metal, and like very aesthetically metal as fuck. I'm thinking of like, I'm trying to think of others.
I actually got one.
Okay.
You made me think of it when we were talking about Arnie. Paul Verhoeven.
Yes.
The madman from Holland himself, Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah.
I mean, RoboCop.
He is. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Metal as fuck. Even though
I could just stop with RoboCop. Right
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Total Recall.
Oh yeah.
Total Recall's still awesome. I put on Total Recall's like, okay, is this actually a good 80s action movie, or people will misremember? No, it's still great. It's still awesome. The squibs in his movies are fucking explosive and bloody.
And it's funny because like metal is it's a very over the top genre, and he is a very over the top filmmaker. Like I love his style. Like he's so
unapologetically you know,
Yeah.
like, even Basic Instinct, like the scene where like she's riding on the guy and then takes an ice pick and just starts stabbing him in the face.
Yeah.
Like that's wow, that's brutal. This is intense.
Yeah,
you see Danzig, that's what Veronica looks like.
That's what it's supposed to look like, you know?
That's what it looks.
Yeah.
That's what well, Verhoeven's been basically doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
And Dan's like, well, I've invented it. No, you
Yeah.
didn't. Go back to singing about your mother.
Yeah, like his style is so like, it's like having his cake and eating it too, but in the best way. Like
he's always saying something. He's always got something to say about American culture.
Oh yeah, big time. Like
I love it.
RoboCop is essentially just a satire on 80s excess. and just
Yeah, and
corporate
cops.
greed, and you know,
And also the police, like, hey, we send in the cyborg who's just like killing criminals indiscriminately. It's like, yeah, wait, what?
he shot a
Shooting
rapist in the dick, you know.
That's fucking metal.
Yeah.
Even Starship Troopers, when they're like, it's afraid. Woo!
Yeah.
We've scared them.
That movie is basically a sci-fi triumph of the will. Like,
Yeah.
and it's funny too, because like he like Verhoeven actually grew up in Nazi occupied Netherlands. So like, and he read like maybe a couple pages of the book Starship Troopers, and he's just like, and because it was written by an American, Robert Heinlein, and you know, it was like, and to my knowledge, Verhoeven was just like, that's not how fascism works. Let me show you how it actually fucking works.
How it works. And he makes one of the greatest action comedies of all time.
And it completely works as a fascist propaganda movie. Like, it is essentially, like I said, it's Triumph of the Will gone sci-fi. Like,
yeah. And it still works as a great movie. Like the main character, Casper Van Dien, he has a character arc. He has he starts the movie one way, he ends it the other.
Yep.
Like and you know, and you got Michael Ironside with one arm.
Oh yeah.
Like that's always good.
Yeah, and it's basically like a Beverly Hills 90210-ish style cast for the teenagers, and like, you know, they're going to war like it's no big fucking deal. And
my favorite part in the movie is when everybody's families just die.
Yeah.
In one when the whole fucking country is just nuked, like the whole state.
Yeah.
And because normally in the military movies, it's like, oh no, the main hero's wife is fallen ill or all this stuff. And here it's just like everybody's family's dead.
Yeah.
Everybody just dies. And it's like, wow, okay, those are stakes.
And apparently, like, it was the propaganda in it is that like they were hit by an asteroid that was farted towards Earth by bugs on a planet that's like across the fucking galaxy.
Like, oh yeah, sure. And everybody believes it because of course they would.
Yeah. I mean, fucking that propaganda can fucking fuck you up pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it even like, another one. He's another one, like aesthetically, stylistically, his movies are metal as fuck and so over the top and so like grandiose and like epic, but still just a very powerful filmmaker.
Yeah, similar to that, David Cronenberg.
Yeah. Especially for death metal, like
with the violence and the. Because I watched it because I remember like Scanners is like, I think a lot of the parts where there isn't violence, it's like but the veins popping up on their faces when they're having the scanner match and the blood spurting out, like it still looks awesome. It's like, whoa, I remember watching the movie being worried that the only cool shot was the infamous exploding head. But no, there's like 20 more shots just as insane as that one.
Yep.
It's like, wow, this is fucking hardcore.
Oh yeah. And The Fly, of course.
That's the Cronenberg
movie,
ears falling off.
Yeah.
His son also makes some really good movies, Brandon Cronenberg.
Oh really?
Yeah, he made a Possessor, which is a fucking weird, trippy movie all about like, it's like the enjoyment. A lot of it is like the enjoyment of violence. That seems to be the themes he likes to explore in his films. Like, it's all about like enjoying about like sadism and gory over the top violence and just brutality. And also mixing like sex scenes in there and having very trippy, weird sex scenes where it's like, what's going on here? Like the Cronenbergs, just like, I would love to see that family dinner. Like, you know, just have dinner with the Cronenbergs and see what the hell these people talk about. Like, oh, you know, I saw this latest Hieronymus Bosch painting that made me think of all this stuff. It's like, oh, You guys are weird.
Yep.
You guys are all just weird.
Yeah. One last one that I do want to talk about is Wes Craven. I would say, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, like
I mean, just look at Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Scream, like
Scream, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are like metal as fuck.
Oh yeah. And let's see what else I think he's done a couple other Swamp Thing. The Serpent and the Rainbow, that's an underrated one. I haven't seen that one in so fucking long.
He also did a pretty good thriller called Red Eye with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, he plays a man named Jack Ripper, which is like, come on.
Yep.
Come on. That's a little silly, but I mean, he didn't write it. He only directed it, and it's a very, very well directed movie.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted him to win, oddly enough. That's how good he is in that movie. I wanted Cillian Murphy's guy to like come out on top, but it's like, nah, he shouldn't. He's a horrific psychopath.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, that's another one is Wes Craven. Like he and it was funny because like he wanted to start out making like romantic movies. Like that's what he wanted to do. And then like the studio made him do like Nightmare on Elm Street, and then he just became the horror guy because he was so good at it.
Because like he started with Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
Like which is like that horrific exploitive like movie about like violence and rape and everything, because it was quick to get distribution for horror films and exploitation movies especially. And then he made Hills Have Eyes, which made a whole bunch of money, and then he was just like, all right, I'm trying this, and it's like, it's not working. And then Nightmare on Elm Street comes up,
and he just became the horror guy,
master of horror, Wes Craven. He's like, I kind of want to do other stuff too. So that was the same thing with George A. Romero, who's also a metal filmmaker. He wanted to do political dramas and satire, but he was the zombie guy. So who
relatable. It's very relatable because in the past 3 years, I have, in the metal community, in the metal YouTube community anyway, I have become the shit poster, and I'm trying to like break away from it. And like, again, I love making them. I really enjoyed putting those together. I'm very proud of like the fucking comedy stuff I've done, the discography videos, the triggering fan bases stuff.
But I've got more to offer this world. I could have had class. I want to dance, Dad. I want to dance on the stage.
But it's like, oh man, I really want to make longer form video essays, because like that was one of my first videos, was the Morbid Angel thing, right? And followed by that big monstrosity of a Metallica thing, like the Black Album video, which I put everything I fucking had into, and then I make this 3-minute shit post on Pestilence, and that becomes the thing that blows me up, which is like,
oh, I'm famous now.
So I've become like the meme guy, the shit poster and all that, and like I am very happy of it, but I just want to showcase, like I've talked about this with a couple of my fans too. It's like I really want to showcase that I can do way more than this, because like, I can do YTPs, which is a big fucking genre on YouTube. I can do talking head reviews, like, you know what I mean? Like, and of course I want to do like the long form stuff, which I'm working on right now. But and a podcaster as well. That's another thing I'm doing right now, right?
Do everything.
Yeah.
A regular jack of all trades.
And a master of none. But
regular Bo Jackson.
Yeah. Bo Jackson, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think, like, I mean, look at Matthew McConaughey. He had to like show off his abs and act all ditzy for years before he did True Detective.
Yep.
And then did Dallas Buyers Club to win an Oscar, so you do your shit post.
Yeah.
Make your make your bread, and then
Mhm.
you go and do something for you. You do
Yeah.
something for them, something for you.
Yeah, and that I'm doing the something for me right now. Just
Yeah.
because like
I mean, all I've ever done is the something for me, and I mean, as I'm not monetized on YouTube, so maybe I think you cracked the code.
yeah, I'm that's still fucking insane to think about, man. It's like, whoa. This it's like that moment in Bad Boys 2. Shit just got real, like
Shit just got real.
yeah. Um,
It's like the camera's like circling around you.
man, I felt, I think we're done talking about the metal stuff now. I just want to kind of like wrap this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like again, like I am very proud of the 3 years I spent in film school. Like I learned so much, worked so hard, and I know like I have something to offer this industry. I just know it. And when I got that email saying I was monetized, it's like, yes, you fucking do. That's the world telling me that's like, yes, I do. So, it was very validating for me. And again, like, and this was a lesson I didn't really learn in film school, to be honest. Not knocking it, but it was like, you need to learn how to give back. And that's one thing I really do want to do. And like, there's people I've worked with there who like, I really want to help out. And like, I have like, not a big platform. It's a small potatoes platform, but I am like, as I continue to grow, I'm going to continue to use that to help people out. And like, it's like, I want to see you succeed. I want to see some other people I went to film school with succeed and all that. Like, if I can just mention their names, bring them on here maybe for a video or a tutorial or like whatever. If the opportunity arises, I'll always do it, right? And like that was kind of what I wanted to do here. Just bring you on and, put some attention onto your work, and hopefully that helps you out a little bit. And like, what was I gonna say? Like that is one thing I really do want to do with like as my channel continues to grow, as my platform continues to grow, is to just give back and try to help out as much as I can. Because like I still like there's still that part of me that like thinks you've heard of imposter syndrome, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
and there's that big part of me that thinks like I don't fucking deserve a single shred of this. There is people I know who are way more fucking skilled than I am, way better than I am, who aren't getting, their due basically. And like if I'm gonna grow, then I want to use this growth to help them out. You know what I mean? So it's like that's where I'm at with this. Sorry, I kind of went on a fucking ramble there.
Anyway, I appreciate it. I mean, you just started talking about how much you want to help me out, so by all means, I'm not gonna stop you.
Yep.
Sure as hell, I'm not gonna stop you.
And like, and another thing too is like I never ever, like, no matter how much this grows, I never ever want to forget where I came from. Like it's, I'm proud of where I came from. I'm happy with where I came from. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And I am very, it's that, and like wanting to help people out and not forgetting where I came from and everything. And because in the grand scheme of things, Niagara College's film program, it is small potatoes, and it's not knocking it. It was a great time. They know their shit. They hire people who know their shit. It was fucking amazing, and their studios are very good, very like you're well equipped, and you have access to so much to get your work done and everything. It was just like a great fucking 3 years. But again, it's not exactly USC, you know what I mean? It's not exactly, U of T film school, it's in the grand scheme of things.
you're not graduating cum laude of this
Yeah.
class of Harvard 2020
Yeah.
with you know, a whole a fraternity full of like these legacy graduate. But it's a good little place to go and learn a trade.
And you
It's
know,
where it's
it is full of people who work in the industry, you know, not just the
that's
film
what
industry,
this
but the
sounds- we're
TV
not
industry.
sponsored by Niagara College, just
No.
to make this clear. It
No,
sounds like we're sponsored.
I am not sponsored by them at all.
Sounds like this surprise. It's a recruitment video the
No,
whole time.
they're not sponsoring me. I'm just saying, like, I had a lot of fun there, and it is like under the radar, but still a very successful program. There's a lot of people who work, especially in the TV industry and the radio industry, like, people have gone on to, yeah, and
the TV program is really, really good.
And same with the film industry too. We've had a couple big names make it out of there. I know someone who worked on, a lot of big budget movies. He worked on Hannibal, a couple DC movies. I'm not going to mention the names, but it is. And we both know a director, like he came back to our school. He's worked with Kurt frickin' Russell, back to the John Carpenter thing.
And I worked for that guy.
Yeah. That was fucking awesome. I'm very proud of where I came from, and I'm never going to forget it, and I'm never going to forget the people I've worked with. And I want to use this as an opportunity to help them out any chance I can. So I hope you appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And you've again, and let this be a lesson to everyone. No matter where you work, try to treat the people you work with like human beings, because you never know when you never know when you might depend on them, right? Because like there's a very good quote. The Undertaker made this quote. Famous wrestler. He said, "The toes you step on today are connected to the asses you got to kiss tomorrow." Like, so try not to fucking, and you've always been
coming from the fucking judge of wrestler court.
Yep.
So I mean, he knows.
Yeah,
anybody knows.
And that's the thing. You've always been a good dude to me, and I hope I've always been a good dude to you. So it's like I've always, and I never forget that, and it's the same thing. Certain people in my life have not fucking, been kind of fucking pricks to me, and they're not on here. So like, but so
I mean, look, man, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't even be here.
That's true.
I wouldn't even return your messages.
Yeah.
This is a lot of effort to go through. If I hated you, wow, I must really be working hard. If I hated you and I'm sitting here talking to you for 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
About metal and movies.
Oh yeah.
So like, yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it, and I just love collaborating.
Absolutely,
I like collaborating.
So we're gonna wrap this up now. So it's like, oh my god, we talked for 2 hours and it's felt like 5 minutes. But honestly,
I think our thesis statement from this whole thing is treat people nicely, and also if you're a musician, maybe practice a bit before you go making movies.
Yeah. And there are some directors who are metal as fuck. Movies are metal as fuck. There we go.
Yeah, you don't need to be a metal musician to be a metal filmmaker.
Yeah.
I think that's the final thought.
Yeah.
You don't need to play metal to be metal.
Yeah. But in wrapping this up, where can my audience find you? Just
So you can find me on YouTube. I have all my short films and web series up there. Just look up Aidan Manley, and you'll find it. I'm also on TikTok under at Aidan Manley Filmmaker. Gotcha. I make a bunch of posts about movies and like movie collecting and stuff like that. Those are my two main two main platforms.
All right, I'll make
Uh,
sure to
YouTube
have a
and
link to
TikTok.
them in the description and everything, and or the comments, actually, not the description. No one ever looks at the description, so yeah. So we'll have a link in the
How do you
comments to that stuff.
just write the video? I don't know what this is gonna be. I gotta read the description.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, Aidan. And so that's my conversation with Aidan Manley about the most metal filmmakers of all fucking time. Thank you very much for joining this. The Q&A is next. And as per usual, it is time for the Q&A. So if you want to ask me a question, be sure to join my Discord, be nice for a little while, and I'll allow you in the questions chat. The first question is from Boss Antelope 86, and he asks, what do you consider the big four of death metal? Easy question and easy answer. It's Death, Morbid Angel, Deicide, and Cannibal Corpse. Death because they were the pioneers, Morbid Angel because they're morbid freaking angel, Deicide because they showed the most evil side to death metal at the time, and Cannibal Corpse because they were essentially the Metallica of death metal in terms of popularity. I know we got some Obituary fans who are going to argue Obituary, but I just never really found them to be that great overall. And even their best albums, which was Slowly We Rot and The End Complete, I just found to be good at best, whereas the other four I mentioned had great albums, 10 out of 10 albums, Inner Circle goated albums. Just good is not going to compete with that, in my opinion. Thank you for your question, Boss Antelope. And the next question is from Grouper Fan, aka Cody Beinart, and he asks me, what is your favorite non-rock or metal album? That's easy. NWA's Straight Outta Compton. That album is full of bangers. You got the title track, you got Gangsta Gangsta, you have If It Ain't Rough, which is MC Ren's masterpiece, you have the hilarious I Ain't the One, and of course, we got Fuck the Police. It's an epic album, I have it on vinyl, and it will always be one that I continue to spin for the rest of my life because it is so fucking awesome. Thank you for your question, Cody. And the next question is from Proud to Be a Lithuanian, aka Toxic Rooster 84. What do you think of the Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show in 2015? Did you like the shark costumes? Yeah, Left Shark was a legend, and I was very, very disappointed that there was no wardrobe malfunction. Yes, I know, simpler, sue me. And the next question is from Astolfo, the Rider of the Rider of Black. What was your thoughts on this year's Money in the Bank and the fact that Roman got pinned for the first time in more than 3.5 years? Well, sorry, Astolfo, I am a full-fledged AEW guy. I am not a WWE guy anymore, so I did not watch Money in the Bank. But the fact that Roman got beat, I mean, okay, the wise choice, because Roman's got to go down, man. Like, his time has passed. Not that he really had much of a time to begin with, but he's got to go. Hopefully he stays the fuck away from AEW. And the last question is from Basil Bonehead, and he asks, what song cover do you think is better than the original? That's a very good question, and a very good topical question, because one that comes straight off the top of my head is one that came out just recently, and that is Electric Callboy's cover of Cascada's Every Time We Touch. First of all, I am not a fan of Cascada at all, and somehow Electric Callboy not only made me look back at one of Cascada's songs and appreciate it, but they made a cover that was absolutely their own and blew the original out of the water. Nico's cleans are fantastic. Kevin's screams are placed at the right time. Electric Callboy picked a perfect song to cover, and I love every second of it. Just like 2022's Techno, I find myself singing along to this song quite frequently, so I suggest you guys check that one out. And that's it for the Q&A, folks. Thank you very much for the questions, and as usual, if you want to ask your own question, just join my Discord, be nice for a month, and I'll allow you to. If you've joined the Discord and I've already given you the permission to ask a question, ask away. And that's it for today's episode of the Smile Time Variety Cast. Once again, thank you very much to Aidan for joining me. That was a fun discussion. And stay tuned for next month's episode, because I will be joined by a very good buddy of mine, and we will be discussing religion in metal. That's all for this episode, though, folks. Thank you very much for joining. Au revoir, tabarnak.